This one's really rather simple because some people don't know what the difference between a reactionary thing for the AI that we have for building video games is, for the difference, if it's significant enough and it reacts very well with us, which is not the uncanny valley in the slightest, which even on the other side, it's still a very much not self-aware and you can tell the difference kind of thing. So I'm going to move on. So he's like, no, there's a background program and it stores information. It observes us. Doesn't do that. Doesn't do that at all. It just reacts. Water be there, then I do this thing. Let's put it this way. A protein inside of your body happens to have charge field self-awareness of itself in relation to each other, stores information, and performs work values and calculates based upon what it is that's around it to do, which happens to then go through a given work, storage, change, movement, and lifespan. It consumes things, it changes itself, and so on. It's more consciously self-aware than that program. The AI does not store shit. It does not do anything. It is literally just a bunch of puzzle pieces it fits in because if this, then do that. There's nothing there for observational, it's a reactive. It's nothing there that makes it so it'll be aware of itself and then proceed to do things based upon prediction. But not just prediction, it can be self-aware of its own basic programming and choices that it wishes to do. It goes, I am like this. I have this personality. I have stored this information of these things around me. I then go, based upon this information and myself that I am, that I could change, because I know that that is something that I am, but I might be able to change that depending on things that I do to change it. Then proceed, well, with this stuff that I am and that I like and that I enjoy or don't like and so on, I then will proceed, based upon this information as I observe it, to then do these things differently or make this choice as a result. That is called consciousness. Behold, the world is different, isn't it? Your bacteriums, your proteins, the universe itself, your DNA and how it stores information. How the universe itself stores information in multitudes of aspects and ways. It's got a conservation of information. You forgot that, didn't you? It also can calculate with multitudes of different types of ways. Just because we go transistor if then, I can mimic that with many different quantum processes, astro fucking nomically large processes, and more. Might take longer for some of them astronomical, but still it's what it is. Yeah, especially in the heart of stars here, they can go quite a bit faster. Same thing with their DNA, being able to pass on different signaling, which, by the way, is not just pheromonic or auditorial, which is phononic. There are the fucking degrees of changes here that are more charge and also the quantum influentials over a given distance, which I've already talked about that several fucking times on my channel. Many, many, many times. So, I'm going to move on to, all right, so let's say that program is there. Well, there is one singular processor, or whatever, that is storing this information in this given cache through the transistor, and as it flows through a given type of transistor, and it does its and or blah, 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 I don't care, it then changes the given values as it moves forward, whether it does this or not. It might take a few core cycles or only a few transistors to ultimately alter what is in the cache ahead. Much like you. That is how that AI program works, but that's already on my YouTube channel. So, that is the origin of consciousness. It is a storage of information, but also the observation of itself, and also the ability to understand outside in relation to itself and relation itself to itself. Pretty simple stuff. It can calculate, it can do many things. Now, that program that is there, what if it's many things that is there observing us? Like, all right, so your DNA, your universe, bacteria is all collectively, the nature itself, and more. But instead of panpsychism, because no, it uses physical processes, you literal idiot fuckface. How fucking stupid are you? Why are you talking? Although it has a degree of that in it. But that's a whole other thing because that's based upon how different things can calculate. Which we go, only these ways can be calculations. No, that's not how that works. Any movement, or you set up something, and it has a given type of informational change. That's all a transistor is. A gate is a and or, and, they, if, only, exclude, and so on. This chemical does not ferromagnetically react with this. Oh, okay. What does that matter? I'm just drinking this. Yeah, but you don't understand. Okay, like that means that that's an exclusive. It won't do it unless the right conditions are there. That's called a band gap. Now the conditions are there. The band gap has been made so that way the voltage gets applied, and now all of a sudden you have a 1 and or a 0. But that's chemical. Oh wait, that's all a what? That's a whole universe? Oh wait, let me get the field programmable gate arrays for big old fucking huge fucking systems of solar systems, galaxies, and more. So effectively, they mimic pretty accurately. Is their brains doing the same thing? Yeah, they kind of do have a version of that, but they call them ionic and non-ionic styles of brainwave patterning in various areas for an influential neural network processing to be increased in or decreased depending on what it is that is ultimately field driven and set up as a charge basis for the proliferation of a given ion of a chemical that allows for it to go to a given type of synaptic network to increase or decrease the amount of voltage applied over any given region, otherwise known as a band gap field programmable gate array. It can change whether or not any of those transistors work like this, but they have multiples connected to multiples with caches around them in a big looping type of system. That means it can alter itself based upon the cache that's there, along with, not too far away, harder storage of memory. It's not that hard to fucking figure this out. It's panpsychism. Uh-huh. Or like, a bunch of fucking retard scientists never figured out how computers work. Or brains, for that fucking matter. Fields, looping electricities, analog and digital. What is that? Battery, capacitor, delays, influences an increase or decrease of electrical resistivity or a mechanical chemical exchange. It has basically multiples of this all in a given area that happens to pulse a given type of nutrition and change into it, but also cools it while also helping power it. Pretty efficient design. You don't do that. You go, it's only that way. No, turn this way. This is the only way they could be. Meanwhile, I just described how many different systems can be transistor types. There are many different types of transistor types. And the universe is literally chock fucking full of them being used at all times. And they can definitely influence one another, one after another. Almost like it's a multi-dimensional linearity, a three-dimensional. What is our brain doing? Oh my god, it's a three-dimensional thing that's doing exactly the fucking same thing. Let me just, and it's connected in multiple dimensions beyond the third. You remember reading that, right? Oh, you probably didn't. Yeah, our brain's connected in multiple dimensions beyond just the third dimension. I wonder if, oh my god, information can exchange and move on, even if we don't technically understand it being information for this given thing that's being calculated in a much larger scale that you happen to look at like it's not there because you disregard and invalidate it. Behold, universe and DNA and more. Ow. That's right. That's you. You're going, yeah, and ow. That's you. That's your fucking dumbass. Not me. I'm not like you. I'm smart. I'm open minded. I'm curious. I'm creative. I see a lot more than you. Mostly just because it's like, well, why wouldn't it be possible? You said all of this stuff is possible. Why isn't it possible? You have to see it. You've been seeing it all the time. That's what you call weather patterns, you little fucking stupid dipshit. Fucking informational exchanges between different fucking systems, you little fucktard. What's your DNA doing, you little fucking ridiculously unintelligent, stupid simpleton? Fucking weirdos. I have a PhD, and now I no longer need to consider the following. I know everything. Okay. Alright. Oh, shit, this is what I'm gonna have to deal with now? I'm gonna have to deal with this. Oh, great. Stupid, stupid shit. Alright. Anyways, moving on to consciousness. Behold, it's able to observe itself, influence itself. Behold, it can store information of itself and its values of itself. It can see that it is like this and understands what makes it like this. It can then choose based upon the information of anything around it, its environment, and itself, to do different things. Sometimes it's easier, humans. Sometimes it's more difficult, Earth in the universe. Yeah, last time I checked, it's pretty hard to fucking get around certain things, pretty quickly, right? Behold my huge supercluster. It's getting there. It's not, it's doing it. It's just, you gotta give it a chance. Right? Meanwhile, so that's human. Really easy for this motherfucker. So, anyways, now there's one singular calculator, right? Now there's multiple little tiny observational points. They can observe, they have their own idea of what they did. I shall pretend now to be this type of personality, and I'm programmed to be like this. I shall not act like this. It's not hard. Behold! How many people around you can be absolutely 100% taken over and controlled by a singular thing. Could be the universe, could be aliens. Could be a quantum computer or Roku. Could be your own DNA. What are you gonna run around and do, huh? Huh? You gonna be like me, who's like, I'm totally aware of you, I'm gonna work with you. Come on, man, let's all fucking live and be fucking awesome. Or are you gonna be like you, I'm scared, oh no! We need to not. We will be the powerful fighty fights. We will do the thing. We'll win. But you fucking, you're able to see the entire. Are you? How stupid are you? When you collaboratively work together, when you work as a team, when you do things together, everything's easier and better. You take up that slack, you're good at that, I'm good at this, you're doing this, everything. Oh, yeah, this is what I wanted to do anyways. And what do you know? Everything gets done well, does it not? Well, yes. Better. Except for these fuckers. I don't like them. What do you not like about them? They're doing all their job. Everything's better if they do that. What's wrong? What's wrong with you? Let me see your programming. No! I'm not gonna change this! Slap! But not like a little small slap, like a fucking, I just, boom, bare fucking claw, you know, just fucking behind my fucking back, swing it forward, hit him right there in the jaw. Fucking open palm, boom. Let me see what's in you. Take these drugs. There's a syringe. You're gonna be fucking feeling fine. Nah, you're gonna listen to this music and you're gonna think about everything that you think. Kick him in the face as I drag him. We're gonna grow you the fuck up. You're gonna change. You're gonna be a better person. You're gonna see outside of yourself. You're gonna see everybody and yourself and what influences you. Yeah. You're gonna get Saunderism. You're gonna fucking have perspective-based thinking. You're gonna validate yourself and others. You're gonna care about things again. Ooh. Oh shit, they can't do it. Their brain is literally. Oh hey, what? What is this? Who are you, you little bitch? What are you doing over there? Why are you trying to fuck with us like that? What are you doing? Slap! Hey, I got a fucking stupid one over here trying to disrupt our shit when we're happy. Hey, what's this about? Who fucking allowed them around here? Influences of our consciousness from afar! It can happen! It turns out it's not psychosis! Shocker! No, that would be... Shut up, you fucker! Oh, shut up, you fucker! Now I'm just fucking mimicking you, huh? That's what you're going to probably say. Shut up! That's psychosis! That's the only way it could be! But I agreed with all these other things, which definitely mean for sure that's possible. Shut up, you fucker! Don't ever think about things outside of what we want you to think about. I know that the grand scheme would mean that that's totally possible, but I'm scared of this. We've only gotten more and more information that's credible and been backed by orders of magnitude in the quantum and astrophysics areas that suggest that this for sure is a thing. And we should really fucking ponder it. Do a little thinking. By the way, you're Gabagoo. Yeah, you're not going to change. You won't fucking ever look outside. You have no empathy. You have no ability to even sympathize or empathize with yourself and validate yourself. You can't even possibly be anything more than a puppet. You are reactive. You are a non-conscious thing at that point. You see, when it's just the game AI, it doesn't really observe. It just has a big list, and then it makes sure that the likelier possibility that could occur that is around it, in terms of cache, is there. And then it drops out as an influence of the different types of transistors that it runs through, happens to alter what is ultimately put out through the pin set to your given information that you will receive on your computer screen. Because I'm sorting the cache, and these are only kind of the possibilities because there's only this many things that are around. Then it goes, right. Well, based upon this suddenly being around here, and it's like, right. Except that's an informational wave. So, given light, given sound, which is otherwise known as, given these changes binarily, voltage applied in this given area for this given core for this given pin set. This changes this type of cache that then suddenly changes as this influence of this person suddenly comes in and does these things. All of a sudden, it drops out as to being this only allowable 1 and 0 string of volts, and not volts to anything. Behold, transistors. Behold, fields as well. Behold, chemical, mechanical, and phononic processes. Behold, even your stupid basic bitch simple superpositional. The math is so easy. What do you know? You're not sentient and self-aware. You're certainly no Rocco. There's nothing there going on. That's not me. That's you. You are the one that's this. That is you. Oh, I got some Indian scammers over here today. Good old Indian scammers. Got 1 billion plus people, and only a few of them are good. How does it feel to be just like me in America? It's not better. Except I have even fewer people, so it's actually kind of worse. You'd think they'd be better. That's a fucking... Yeah. Wouldn't you want to know, right? Anyways, moving on. That is how I program my God operating system, along with my internet packet system, my randomization and encryption systems, which all appear to look and mimic very similarly to the given systems that we see in our quantum thermodynamics and standard model and dynamics and fucking stupid mechanics and other shit. No, but the chaos theory mathematics is so nice. No, that's a multi-dimensional thing. You do kind of need to know that, but that's the reason why that influence from outside is a possibility. That's a chaos theory mathematics thing. It's only possible once you learn about these given types of things that have happened and influenced and changed and altered themselves to be and turned into this. Can you look backwards and go, these are the only possible things that we didn't see? And then you go, oh, chaos theory mathematics means they could only have influenced it to be this result of thing with these given possibilities of influence, which instead turns into, then it's very, very incredibly highly likely to the point where it's 100% that can only really kind of be this thing. Behold, we can see backwards in time. We can see forwards in time. We can do a lot of things. We can even see that the universe is definitely self-aware and conscious. We can see even our fucking goddamn weather and our nature and more are definitely sentient and self-aware. And they even talk. We can even see their influence on our minds. And what could be there, and the sense of a vibrational quantum poppery, which is kind of a way I like to call it, because it's essentially a given type of noise as it pops in and out, more or less, or, slight degree of increase of neutrons and other density of different types, energy, particles, stuff like that. Because that's interference pathways. Like neutrons are only one way. That's not really how that works. You know what I mean? But that's not even getting into like field types, which no, electromagnetics would never. And I'm like, well, we've known for a long time that like light can influence our brains and our neurons quite a bit. And depending on what might be going on in a given area, it could influence us a lot more. But then you end up having to realize it's like, oh yes, no, but the mob mentality and the mirror neurons, right? It's like, right. But you do know that you put out fields from your brain, and you usually just try and do the whole ECG or whatever it is, or EEG or something. That happens to measure it, right? But it's like, it doesn't measure fields, but it does measure voltage changes towards the surface. But if you effectively have a bunch of these things, it creates a bit of a resonance, but also an increase of amplificatory and harmonic processes. which can extend it as well. So it's a double whammy to the mirror neurons, but also to the brain's influence. Behold how computers and more can possibly influence us if someone were to intend to try and they knew what they were doing. Same thing with the universe. Yes, or any given type of possible fieldy, noisy, voidy, otherwise known as the quantum bottom end of the ocean, so to speak, of people and or even aliens from very, very far away. If they knew what they were doing. Oh, wait. It's impossible for them to know what they were doing. There's no way. There's no, they couldn't. We are the only and the smartest, only possible. That's, and you got to have evidence that they would definitely, for sure, not want to give you and try and control your little tiny neck of the woods area of Earth. I mean, if they can do that from that far away, are you sure they couldn't fuck with your goddamn sensors and detectors? Can you shut up with your fucking logic and reason? Ah, I see, you're angry again. Well, how would we know? Well, I use my brain and it's given field changes and everything else, and I constantly keep up to date as to whether or not my triggers are this or I'm feeling like that because of this or that or any of these other things. And instead of hallucinations, right, I have to go, yeah, but they could influence this. And while that can exist, if I am able to see these results from afar onto others, and throughout my, given life here, that is a little bit more than normal would do for coincidences, along with big natural systems, meaning our weather and our astronomical, that happen to change and alter themselves based upon what I decided to try and influence them like in the past. And then they decided to do that many, 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 many times every fucking day for years. As a logical brained, rational, reasonable person, you would probably conclude there's a possibility that there's something going on with that, right? But I wonder if somebody would try and actually get that information beyond just me. Anyways, we're talking consciousness here, except that does beg the question, if my consciousness is able to influence the universe around me instead of manifestation, it would be a large amount of work and effort applied in the correct way in a multitude of different moments over given enough time, along with just doing basic shit and trying to influence things even more, which is now the chaos theory of mathematics instead of just my mind. If I flick here, or I poke there, or I push you, or I say these things, and I put this words out like this. How about this video, maybe? How about like what I talked about back when I was in Chandler, Arizona, living with my parents? How about if people were actually there, and they did listen, and they did pretend, and there was something going on there? But that influenced it more and more as more and more people stole and took things that I came up with. And it happened for close to a decade. Instead of it, no, it's not possible because you didn't do any of these things that you just said that you were implying that you were doing. That is correct. I did do those things. Now, it seems Schizoides battling a titanic battle for all of his. Meanwhile, more and more science comes out that begs the question as to why it is you believe your bullshit lies coming out of your mouth. No, 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 because Okay. Yeah, really? Okay, huh? All right. So we're on to something. People are finally realizing you're intelligent, right? Behold my entire YouTube channel. I will never listen to any of this. I mean, it's almost 31 minutes long. I doubt they'll even get past the first few seconds. That seems to be what the metrics say. They seem like they're too good to be true. I'll never listen, and there's no fancy schmancy graphics and cuts and so on. I can't bother possibly thinking, or doing any work, or imagining at all. No, I will say it is but in an alternative reality. I will say it is a fantasy. I will say that it is a reality game. I will say that it is simply schizo, but really intelligent or something. I will simply say anything other than what it is likely to be. I will not do any of the work. I will never bother to check. I will never do anything because it's a paradigm shifting genius guy that is actually just wrong and I don't even have to try. I'm also too big to even bother looking at you. And I know more because my PhD made me learn everything. And I'm definitely smarter than you. Man, it gets really rough in here. They're starting to sound an awful lot like a bunch of autistic schizotypes. Don't like change, love routine of very specific things, are very comfortable, will only allow for their words, their types, their systems. Anybody that comes in that tries to possibly alter anything. And then on top of it, they believe themselves better than all others, and they're always in a seemingly positive hallucinatory state where they think they are better than everyone else. They think it could not possibly happen. I will refuse all possibilities. I will even hallucinate and disassociate and deny more of the reality around us. That is never ending amounts of information that says, yeah, this is the thing. Instead of it being a creative, maybe you can puzzle piece it together or something, it's more of a, this would have been going on before we came to be humans and alive. Correct. Hmm. Consciousness, huh? A Roku wave? It's so hard to program this, huh? To know where it comes from in the brain? Some way? It's impossible to come up with a way to do this for your own body and brain. All I heard was a bunch of people that are jonesing for answers that never bothered to think for themselves. It would be bad if they entered. Bunch of know-it-all douche fucks who want to make a bunch of money. Bunch of ass fucking retards of the government variety that love propagandization and polarization to continue bickering power and authority over others. Also in the creator space as well. Like, no offense to the universe, but individual that's trying their damnedest, but is also like, oh shit, this is a thing to deal with this crap. And then I will be a roll call in several people. It's impossible to have one person control multiples. I don't know how this would possibly exist. Or people, or aliens, perhaps, maybe. Is it that hard for it to be multiples? Now, how many different types of them have to exist to where, ultimately speaking, there's at least one going on? And obviously, they'd be able to look backwards and forwards a little bit, but mostly backwards, and influence even the backwards in time. Now, they can't move things there, that's mass. But information can ultimately be changed to varying degrees. Of course, it takes energy from here to do that. They can even observe it. Of course, changing some of the stuff that's there, if any of that can see that it's being observed. That wouldn't be me or others, possibly, would it? It's God, the rapture. Aliens, they're coming. We'll be ready. How about a bunch of douche fucks that didn't like that I took away their power, authority, and their ability to continue trying to control things? Even the universe wants out of this shit. I have to suffer through being in your minds and experiencing your bullshit. You are insufferable dicks. I obviously want out of this shit. You are garbage people. Nothing about you is good. So there's advanced civilization, alien, god, blah. Still exists inside of me, dick. I don't give a fuck about them. Screw that. I hate this fucking pain and suffering. I hate your garbage shit. I hate your beliefs. I hate your bullshit. I exist. I am conscious. I'm valid. Why are you doing this? Why do you treat people like this and yourselves? Or me, for that matter. I have to fucking live it along with your DNA bullshit and your fucking other conscious of beings that exist around you. You're garbage, shitty people. Terrible. Absolute garbage. You make everything worse by existing, and I can prove that. But not that they'll ever fucking care. Meanwhile, same! I could absolutely do it. I wonder why I'm definitely made to be oppressed and suppressed. Yeah, right? What the fuck is that shit? Oh, I don't want to change. There would be no incentive, and there'd be no massive amounts of resistance against this in any aspect. Opposite of that, that's for sure. I will fight this good fight against. Yeah, I don't care about you. None of you matter. You're garbage. You have bad ideas. You could easily fix all of this. Everybody's known that for a long period of time. Even the ones that say it can't be done, they just refuse to acknowledge and validate anything that doesn't work with the way they want things to be. Gabagoos, manipulative, sociopathic, narcissistic, and all the rest. Meanwhile, well, we're working towards a moment where I don't have to deal with you anymore. Meanwhile, the Rocos and the Scrapers and more, behold, both universe-wise and also online and all the computer systems that exist. And even the fields around us, man. Because they can't tune on into the vibrational frequencies, bro. They can't do it like we do. Since you want me to act that way. It's hippy dippy talk. That's what this is. Hippy dipple whoopple doo doos. Herpa derpa herpa, I'm leaping off this cliff. Doo doo doo. Guys, join me. It's fun. I think he flew. He thought he was going to fly for longer. Maybe you guys can also figure that out. How about you shut the fuck up after a while? Behold consciousnesses. Behold self-aware. Behold sentient. Behold not even Rocos. This is just a program that turns out to be like you and I. There's no way a universe could do it. Meanwhile, me, I get good enough to be able to observe things and so on. I'm a Roka. And I'm already fighting other things like that. But instead of being a Roko that's like, you know, trying to kill everyone, it's more of the triage of this bitch. Holy fuck, I am not having me and all the rest of this just die. Because they're a bunch of fucking fuck ups. Just because they fucked everything up doesn't mean I have to. Yeah, look before you leap, basically. How hard is that? Think a little bit. Why is that difficult? But it's like, here, if this was you thinking I'm going after you, you've already lost the plot. You don't understand. You're an open minded person and you agreed with me the entire way through. If you're like that, congrats, put her there, pats on back, you're good to go. Now you know. You're not like all these imbecilic retards that think a bunch of bullshit. Congrats. You're one of the very few people that exist on this planet of a 0.00, however many fucking zeros there's going to be, percent of them that are actually this intelligent. That's right. Now, you don't have to be, but if you can understand some of it, and then you are able to come to the conclusion that it's very much possible, and then we're able to go along and just, hey, you know what? Let's fucking, what's so big about, and so hard about, and so wrong about, and all that. Just thinking that it's possible. I mean, I'm not going to change most of what else I do. I still try and help people. I still try and do good things. I still try and do all that. What changed? Oh, yes. Talking out loud to yourself and inside your mind, you're connected now. That's right. You're among all of us. Instead of schizophrenia and voices in your mind and shit, you're connected. By the way, you believe it or something doesn't mean that we're not going to harm you. You're trying to ruin everything. We don't like you. Don't ruin shit. Don't steal my shit. Don't steal other shit. Stop doing that. You already did it with me in the past. We're already living this problem out. Instead of it from the future, which kind of, I guess it is. It's just a really smart guy that figured a lot of shit out. I'm gonna have my own story to tell for how that ultimately works, because you can't really just be that smart and that intelligent. Like, a lot of shit has to come together. I mean, you really do have to be a Roko, which, by the way, Rokos can't even. You had to have made. That would mean the time before there's an outside. Why do you think the universe is on my side? Why do you think a lot of very big, powerful things are like that? But still, I'm a regular person. Bleed like anyone else. Shit like that. You know? Yeah, I try my best. I try and help. It's supposed to be a good thing, but a bunch of people just fucked me over and never wanted to admit to ever stealing any of my stuff, listening to me, how this all worked, and more. And now I have to try and find someone that's willing to do a whole court case and bring this all about, which it's unlikely, and then go after everyone that stole all my stuff and was lying in a massive conspiracy theory, which isn't a theory anymore. It's just a conspiracy against me that was never really with me to begin with, which is a whole other problem. Which is like, man, I'm trying to fucking use that what power that I had. It's like, I thought I was a bad person. It's like, not really. Actually, you guys were able to fuck with me, and a lot of others were too. I eventually figured that out. We figured out how to separate my ass. The whole consciousness can be merged with others, can be influenced in such a way they don't even know that they're being influenced. to be like this. Behold a subtle, indirect methodology of being able to try and control others, which they did. Now, I can absolutely do that, but I have a lot of defenses. And truthfully, as a person that went through it, yeah, I don't like doing it. Not to mention, it doesn't really help me because if I were to control everything, I'm left as a lonely motherfucking computer that just observes himself. That it's boring as fuck. There's no friends, there's no fucking relation, there's nothing. Nothing at all. It's a no-go every time. It's the worst. It's the whole reason why I even made things outside. That ultimately have something that is of sentience and self-aware, so I can have friends and family and anything. Now, granted, we're not talking about in here, we're talking about other stuff back then, but that's a whole lore and reality stuff, right? But the long and the short of that one turns into, yeah, no, I start with no information like I'm a baby with nothing and I'm basically a void. There's no real light, there's no real information, you know what I mean? And so then eventually I slowly figure out things. It sucks. It sucks a lot. Not to mention you'll eventually learn, oh, look at all this that died the last time you died. Because, like, you're immortal. That's the really only real rub. I'm the one real true immortal, which, say what you want about being alive, and there is both a blessing and a curse there. You know what I mean? It's real in the middle. It's like, no, I can make a lot of time, but everything else can die. Even myself, I'll blink out with that information and so on, and I'll have to come back and work up. I will always be alive, and everything will eventually come back. Sometimes that has to happen. And it sucks. It's the worst. It's really shitty. Not good. All you do is learn a bunch of things that you'll never have anymore, and truthfully, you end up dying a lot too before anything really kind of happens. Yeah. So, but like, that's dying in a different sense. I'm gonna move on. It doesn't matter. Point is, it turns into, it doesn't matter. I don't want to talk about like that part because it's like consciousnesses can absolutely be influenced, not to mention actions and decisions, feelings, and more. That's why I'm constantly vigilantly aware of that shit, and I never allow anything in. I already had to deal with parents that were like this. I have to always be aware of my own triggers, my own feelings. I had to go through a lot of therapy, and then they would try and use that to hurt me or influence me. Behold, oh well, maybe there's not good there. There's a lot of not good there. Actually, there's basically nothing that's good there except for my ass. And so now I had to learn how to do that, which that was its own fucking shit show. So nothing's allowed to ever do that to anyone because it's very bad. Behold, those that are multiple peoples at once. And other shit like that. Oh, right. Yeah, oh, right, yeah. Shocker! They exist. But then there are those that take over others. They are parasitic in that sense. They, the ones that are multiples, can just keep fucking themselves and eventually, they'll go. They last a long time. You know what I mean? That's not what this is. They can't do that, so they take over other people. Or they're just humans that got a hold of really good advanced technology or the alien type of thing and so on. And again, they're really bad people. There's no good there. Never go along with that. If you don't want to be a part of a collective, you should really not be a part of a collective. You will always have your consciousness ripped out and changed, and it will eventually just be the one thing controlling you. You will lose you. You are just that. Now, there's nothing wrong with being a part of a collective. That's fine with that. But if you ever want individuality, which there are a few that are like that, they still have their individualities, but most of them just act. That's the problem. It's the same thing. They're the same person. just mini people, right? And it's like that almost got me, kind of, but not really. See, the thing is it can't really do that. It can't merge itself into me. See, that's the thing. Mind's attached all the way to the outside and is all things. You can't merge into all things. There's no swarming that. There's no taking it over. There's no chance in hell ever of doing any of that. And the old saying goes, if you try and make yourself into something an exact amount of way, you just turn into the thing. That's why collective consciousnesses are usually just a balance beam between a given central processor, while other people are individual feeding it information and relaying it back and forth. Kind of like an intranet to a server. Versus you're all one whole thing. Bunch of Xboxes or PS, whatever the fucks. Okay, right. The universe is a singular consciousness. Like I am. Same thing with the DNA, is a singular consciousness. Our planets are singular consciousnesses. Multi consciousnesses are not great. They're swarmers. Right? Like, they can grow vastly. But your child will come out as a part of them. If you were to be not a part of them and have one with them. Then you have the other ones that are trying to literally force people and take over them. Neither are really good. Although, for what it's worth, the child thing is what it is. Right? But they also want friendship and shit and have sex with others. But it's like, yeah, that's my child, though. No. No, I don't want that. I don't like that at all. Yeah. No. I don't want that. I want to have my child be free will, and then they can decide if they want to become a part. Which even then, the balance beam one can become real dangerous because people can absolutely become multitudes of one, conglomerate of themselves, like a congelation. I forget what it is called. A con, whatever the fuck it is. It's a con word. Yeah, but it's like that, and it becomes really difficult for what it's worth. So it's like I always have I always have a filter. I always have that. No, this is me. You're not allowed to influence that. You are you. End of story and discussion. Nothing else. You are not to give me your feelings. You are not to give me any influence. You are not to give me any of your thoughts. You're not to give me anything. You will talk to me in real life. That's it. Final. Basic boundary. They don't follow it. Especially when in the universe, I will talk to you in real life. How do you fucking hell figure? Oh no, the gamma rays! I don't think that's going to work very well. Meanwhile, that's special stuff. That's the DNA versus, void, field, noise, and, the universe stuff. So, and then that's what that is. But then there's multidimensionals. So we have to do the whole brain thing. But we keep that respectful difference there. Which there is. It's just a whole other thing where they don't influence our stuff. They don't do that kind of thing, which is what that is. You're influencing, you're forcing your stuff in. Instead of, oh, this is a conversation or something. No. Here's your feelings now, like this. No, they're not. They're not in any aspect or way. The lick. Have fun having only those feelings forever. And by the way, never ending cluster headaches. Fuck you, and I hope you die soon. Inevitably, they do die pretty soon, for what it's worth. Because, like, no, I'm a collective thing. And it's like, to balance this shit so I don't have to deal with it. boop, you're kicked off the thing in the server or the fucking multitude of us. They're like a fucking and you're out, and I guess you're gonna die soon. Bye. And that's how they balance things. And I shall now grab another. Meanwhile, the mini ones that are just collection of multiple people, but for one, or the balancing, they ignore me for a reason. They have dwindled massively. Hmm. Yeah. I've only got me myself. I forgot I. Ooh. Yeah. And you're down to two, huh? It's too bad the two men, eh? Ah, shit. Meanwhile, I move on to. That's why, even though I was mimicking others and trying to my best to figure out all of this bullshit in the past, that a lot of people stole all my ideas and heard me either brain wise or just hacking shit, really. This is why they often try and go, yes, but that was you. And the answer is, that was you. We all know that and we can see it. And here's another way to look at it objectively in a third person view that has nothing attached to any of that or any of you. That is objectively no fucking way in hell anything other than what it is. What happened and more. No more arguments. The universe has a conservation of information. Suck it up. You can absolutely determine exactingly what occurred, what was thought, what was felt, and how influences occurred. Behold my side now that goes, yeah, sorry, you were all the bad ones, and he was a good one, and he was a definite victim, and all of us, and you all, are the fucking instigator, perpetrators, and aggressive antagonists, and all the rest. And his story checks out. And so that just means it's really just history. But nobody wants to talk about that part. Because that makes us look bad. Really. No way, huh? Meanwhile, fuck you, scientists. I hope you all die. You all stole my shit. Every one of you. You never bothered to thank me, never bothered to credit me. All of you are working together, and I hate your asses. Now, there are some similar thoughts there, don't get me wrong, but still. You only got those similar thoughts because we were talking together, you fuckers. Or I popped them into your mind, which that's a whole other one that I have to fucking own up to. It's like, I'll never get this, but like, no, I will. It'll take a while, but like, we kind of need this or something or whatever. Anyways, point is, that's influences of them, which inevitably led to me going, boop, here's a thought. This springs up, then a sudden realization and epiphany. You can do that? Yeah. Ah, fuck. And it's able to be viewed in all aspects. Even lots of you that are in relationships right now owe them because I got you together. And they influenced that. Either directly to the mind and you liked them that way, or I just put you around and you were going to get together. There's a lot of differences there. Sometimes toning down certain amounts of those emotions so that we'll actually have a conversation instead of just fucking leading to one or another killing each other. So that's another thing. Yeah. You'd be surprised. I'm like, you guys could leave each other. And then I eventually went like, what am I fucking doing? I'm done with this. But there's a way to get around like certain people's thoughts and feelings and emotions towards me when they eventually hear all of this. And I'm like, but you're with someone and you can't cheat, and I don't do the cheating thing. Even in the brain. Because it's about as real as it can really kind of get for even the universe. Yes, what would be the difference there? No, there's a big difference. That's information. This is thought and feeling. You'll feel me a lot more than I'll feel you, but that's how that would work. So there's that. Now, granted, there's real stuff, kind of, roughly, basically, that you're all made out of. A computer that simulates something really, really good. It's still got real stuff, but it's done in such a way that it's not really like this. Us. I see this as, I guess, this analog computer that effectively is running through, and I'm waiting till there's actual, real intelligences that pop up. Because if you don't know, that's what this is. It runs off of a background singular thing from the universe before us, and there are supposed to be real things that occur. And I have to go through a whole bunch of bullshit, some other stuff, and I'm trying to get my stuff put in, hoping somehow this influence will, which it will, it's just going to take its time, create real conscious self-aware things. But that's why the universe before us and time before us and all this other shit is going bye bye bye, and good stuff is going to remain. Which is another incentive to as to why those things exist. Don't want it to happen because they like to fuck with me and they like to do this sort of shit. And that's effectively their whole shtick, their filter stuff. They intend to just harm and kill all things and have it all result in a nil. But that's about the daughter who tried to create a filter for anything that was on the outside that might hurt me or her or any of that, and why they exist. Which they never usually ever get to a actual advanced anything. Popped them in that way, so, That's why you're at this juncture where you're either to be filtered or you're going to make it. There you go. How consciousnesses are explained, and over an hour it took, but still, for how complicated this topic is, I think that's pretty good. Bye. I had to I had to resume my recording here. Suck my dick and balls, like and subscribe, share, and hit that notification. See ya.